Relationships, splendid or in over your head? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1298 of our not all about you, our What's You Up To Now. It's not a challenge, just documenting my journey as I transition from brick and mortar corporate world of business over a quarter century in corporate America, simultaneously 47 plus years now running my own businesses in like 27 or more different industries. I stopped counting industries when I came to the online world because I was involved in a lot of different industries early on, and now I'm narrowing that focus down and doing both some online and offline businesses in 2021 and beyond, because I miss the offline world. I miss the it's a whole different ballgame, the excitement and the fun and the thrill of creating something more physical, more real. I always tease my online friends that it's not a real business. Of course it is. Any kind of transactions and business is business. But it's fun to tease them because it gets them all riled up and worked up about, what do you mean it's not a real business? Da, 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 da. And so we have fun, heated debates and discussions about that. Because guess what? We all get our own opinion. We all get to work on and decide and believe what we want to believe. And it's different for each and every one of us, of course. Some things we have that are beliefs in common because we all have businesses. Otherwise, we have a lot of different beliefs as well. So, where do I get this bizarre title? Relationships, splendid, or in over one's head, or in over your head, in over my head, in over our heads. Our idiom, of course, for Supersize Your Business today was in over your head, in over one's head, meaning you're literally in too deep a water. You're drowning in too much of something. Something is too difficult or too challenging for you, a task too hard to handle. And then I shared 10 tips and 10 strategies and 10 ways, 10 things you could do to alleviate that tension and pressure that comes with feeling like we're in over our head. I don't know if you've ever almost drowned. I guess when I was little, we had a pool, so there were occasions when we dove too deep or did something or stayed under the water too long and you felt like you were drowning. And if you've had that feeling, it's not a good feeling, and so we don't want to repeat it. We definitely don't want to repeat it in the offline world when we're trying to create or build or grow our businesses, our relationships, anything in our life. We can get in over our head in any area or aspect of our life, right? We can be emotionally too involved in something or emotionally overreacting. That could be an example of being in over our head with respect to our emotions. Our mindset can be all over the place, and we can be struggling mentally, so we can be in over our head. We can be in over our head at work and in businesses, of course. We can be in over our head in relationships. Usually when we're in the wrong relationship, we're in over our head. Or we can be head over heels in love. There's all kinds of ways to be in relationships. Financially, we can be in over our head. We can have way more debts and way more obligations than we have money coming in at a given time. That would make us feel like we're in over our head. Again, used to work with a lot of businesses in the real estate industry where people were literally upside down and in over their heads, and our purpose was to help them get out of those situations. So in over our head was our idiom today for Supersize Your Business. Love to know if you've got any experience with that, or if you've got some thoughts or feelings or things that you've done that really helped you to get out of that situation. So if you're listening to me, you probably got out of it. Or maybe you are in over your head. There's aspects of my life where I feel out of control and a little bit in over my head. You know, all this COVID stuff and all the politics and stuff, I stay out of it because, number one, I don't want it in my head. But number two, because there's so much misinformation and miscommunication that it is just more confusing. And when we're confused, what do? We shut down and we say no. So instead of being confused, I say no to the confusion, no to the media, no to the politics, no to the COVID stuff, no to the religion, no to anything like that that isn't moving me in the direction I want to go, because it's just a distraction. And if we want to achieve our goals and objectives, we have to tone out, and turn off and close our eyes to any objections. We have to do what feels right to us. And to me, it just feels better to tune out all those things and to just have them not be part of my life. I just choose not to participate in them. For the most part, do I get sucked in every once in a while? Yes, because I'm human. And so every once in a while we get sucked in. So relationships is the topic and the run through of our SOAP framework for the next 4 days. So today we talked about the S in the SOAP framework, and we used a tool that I call the imaginary friend tool to help us identify what is our current situation and then what is our desired situation? Because we want to be able to identify that gap, and the rest of the SOAP framework then helps us to fill in that gap, or to begin to fill in that gap. We don't, of course, in one day or one time or 4 days even, fill in that entire gap to go from exactly where we are now to the ultimate where do we want to be in any area or aspect of our life. And if people tell you you are, if you can do this instantly, they are full of baloney. Now, there is also the knowing that miraculous things can happen to us at any time, any given moment. So is it theoretically possible that you can go from where you are to where you want to be in an instant? Yes. But that's called winning the lottery in most instances. For most of us, it would be winning the lottery. It's not. And then guess what? We still wouldn't be where we want to be even if we were to win a $1 billion lottery. We would still have us that we're bringing along with us. And until we catch up in each area and aspect of our life with the person we really ultimately want to be, that $1 billion isn't going to make a difference. We'd find a way, like most lottery winners, to squander it all. So, an aside. But we're talking about relationships today. And so we have to first, of course, pick a relationship that we want to use the SOAP framework on. We can't, and I hate the word can't because there's no such thing as can't. My dad taught my sisters and I that there's like no such thing as can't in our worlds and in our vocabulary for the most part. But it is very challenging, let's say, to do the SOAP framework on all your relationships simultaneously. So we pick one as we're going through the exercises and using the tools so that we know that we have these tools at our fingertips whenever we need them going forward to handle what comes up, the changes, the challenges, any obstacles or anything that comes up that tries to prevent us from getting where we want to go in any of the 9 areas and aspects of our life. And I say 9 because I started just this April, I added confidence and communication, because I think they're very important foundational skills, and if we improve either one of them, if we are more confident or if we're more apt and more skilled at communicating and getting our message to people and in a way that they understand what we're trying to communicate, because that's what it's all about. I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference in the world, and I'm one of those people that wants to make a difference in the world. I want to make the world a better place. And I think if more of us that want to make the world a better place step up and start doing something, whatever we can, do what you can with what you've got right now to make the world a better place, to have a positive impact, the ripple effect of that will be huge. And all of this craziness and nonsense and negativity and evil that's going on in the world will be stomped out, because we're going to say it's not acceptable. We're not going to tolerate it. So that's my underlying mission is, hey, good, rise, evil, take a hike, because we're not going to tolerate you here. So, relationships. So I am actually doing I'm actually excited to do this one. I'm going through the SOAP framework for relationships with difficult people. People that I would consider enemies, frenemies, competitors, different types of personalities that I really struggle with because I don't understand them. Usually it's because I don't understand them and I just have no way of thinking like them. I think narcissists, people that are super duper egotistical, people that are pretending to be something that they aren't, haters, if you're online, if you've ever been online, sometimes offline, bullies and haters. I mean, I'm doing all the negative people that I don't want to have in my life, and I'm going through the SOAP framework with that. Now, I haven't done the imaginary friend exercise on this yet today. I just came up with it that I wanted to do that relationship because it's one I haven't done before. I've done a lot of other relationships. This is my 8th time through the Get Up and Go Challenge, the 30-day plus Get Up and Go Challenge. So I've had the opportunity to go through 7 different categories of relationship using the SOAP framework, and it has improved every single one of those relationships and those relationship groups, with the exception of I've never done frenemies or enemies or difficult people. And again, a difficult person to me is going to be different than a difficult person to you. But if I go through and I demonstrate how you can more adeptly handle this and then put it on autopilot so it's as easy as breathing, who doesn't want to know how to do that? Who doesn't want to put that in their life and install that into their automatic way of being? I do, so I'm like kind of surprised I didn't think of it sooner. But that's the cool thing about going through the challenge over and over again, is every time I do it, I learn and have absolute breakthroughs in areas and aspects of my life in terms of who I want to be, who I want to show up as, how I want to be in this world. And so I'm actually laughing and smiling about it because I'm excited about actually applying the SOAP framework on a conscious level on purpose to a category that gives most of us lots of headaches, lots of challenges, lots of doubt, fear, worry, anxiety, depression, anything that can come from having to deal with a really difficult situation. It's kind of humorous that it took me this long to think of it, because I was in a very controlling, intimate relationship for 25 years, and I wasn't the controller in this situation, which is hard to believe when I think back. I'm like, how did I even get involved in this nonsense? So difficult people, difficult for me, maybe different than difficult for someone else, but handling difficult people, handling your enemies, handling your haters, is using the SOAP framework is something that all of us can benefit from, at least most of the human beings I know. All of us have people that love us, and all of us have people that just can't stand us. That's just the nature of being human. And that's one of the amazing, wonderful things about being human, is that we are all different. And we want to focus on the things that we like about one another, not about the things we don't like. I had a boss a long time ago, one of my first jobs out of college, and this woman, she wasn't my direct boss, but she was my boss's boss, and she took an absolute dislike to me from the get-go. She didn't hire me. Her boss's boss's boss hired me right out of college, and she didn't have any say in it, and I guess if she had her way, I never would have been hired. And so over the course of the next 5 years, I needed to find a way to work with her, and I discovered that the only way to do that was to focus on the things that she was awesome at, because just like everybody, we're good at some things and we're not good at others. And I found that dealing with her, since she hated my guts apparently, was to focus on what I liked about her and what I admired about her and what I respected about her. And that definitely improved the relationship. So learned early on that you got to find a way to get along with certain people, even if you don't love them. I mean, we would never be best friends, although I did meet her in another career years later as we were the vendor for the organization she was still working for in a different location. But it was really interesting. We got along fine. I don't even think she remembered that she hated me, so that was pretty interesting. So you never know. Sometimes your enemies become your partners, or become your friends, or become, and you know, a lot of times we don't like people because they're a lot like us. Anyway, I digress. So our Splendid today, Relationship Splendid, comes from our annual challenge to do one thing every day that centers us, our All About You 365-day challenge. And this year we are doing getting to know ourselves better, centering ourselves. And so today's was about splendid thoughts. And I actually really like the word splendid. Don't ever hardly ever use it, although I've used it about a dozen times today. I'm going to go about my day, even though I'm going to a funeral, and look for some splendid thoughts. I'm sure there'll be some splendid thoughts about the person. I haven't been to a funeral since my grandma's funeral, so can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I will be going. So that's it. That's what I'm working on. If I can help you in any way, if you have any questions, if you're struggling with something and you just don't know who to ask, please ask. Don't just be stuck. Remember when I first came in the online world, I would spend a week or two commiserating over something I was trying to figure out and learn. And I'd be, of course, trying different things, looking at different things, going to different forums or places I thought I could find the answer. And I realized that I wasted so much time and energy because all I had to do was ask. There was actually a group of people that I could have just asked. And instead of wanting to not look stupid, because it was a new area for me, I'd never done anything like it before, I didn't want to ask. I was reluctant to ask. I'm like, oh, that and the old, I can figure it out myself mentality. You know, a lot of us have that too. But I learned that sometimes it's the quickest, fastest, easiest way to keep moving forward and get progress and momentum and movement in the direction you want to go, is just to ask somebody. If you don't have someone to ask, if you've tried to figure it out, just ask. Might not know the answer, but I guarantee I can hook you up with the person, place, thing, resource that will get you moving immediately off of the dead stop, I don't know what to do zone. All right, have a great day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.